Hello, welcome to the August readings. This is going to be for you, dear ones, working with your Libran themes. So if Libra's in your chart, or if that's your sun sign, moon, or rising, this will be for you. You know, it's interesting. A lot of the readings have similar cards. So it honors that we have collective themes, right? So August is going to be interesting. We've made it through the solstice. It's definitely been some interesting energy around. So I hope you guys are holding on and thriving in whatever way that you can manage. So we're going to do a slightly different spread this month, and it's going to all be with this Stalk Your Shadow Oracle deck. So full shadow reading, I think you guys can handle it. Just gives us a heads up on what might present to you to give you a framework of the why, right? I think we always want to know some kind of why so that we can compartmentalize our experiences, surrender into them without resisting to them or going into a victim voice that's too strong, right? Because that seems to block growth. So I came up with a new card spread that I hope will honor that. And it's something that we do in Ankara Academy a lot of the time is when you start working with your guides and you know who they are and you have the processes and you learn to trust them a lot, they often take you through training programs, initiations, important milestones in your development journey so that you can move through and become a more powerful version of yourself and also work with them in a more powerful way. So that does take time. Generally, it takes a couple of years for most of our students to be really comfortable with their guides, to use their capacity to understand their roles together. And there's been many, many training programs for them through that journey. So it gives us chapters of growth where we can have a theme involved. So it might be a sector of your life, but we're going to pull a card for the theme for August for Libra. So we know what training program you're in. And you, my darlings, got the horse. So this really tells me that there's going to be forward movement. There's going to be successful forward movement, but it's going to be possibly at the expense of other people's comfort. So have a look at what's broken away for you. Have a look at what's maybe been a bit disjointed. Maybe there's been disconnection. Maybe there's been like interruptions. That's so that the horse can prepare for forward movement. So we make sure that when we're on, when it's go time, when it's a green light, when it's a personal summer, when it's a period of abundance, ideally when you're working with your guides, they let you know when it's coming. And a lot of my students get forewarning months in advance. Like, we're moving towards something big. I want you to get ready. I want you to clear the way. So when we're not engaged with the process, we can just see a lot of people or a lot of things falling apart. We can be like, well, that's not working and I don't talk to that person anymore and this isn't happening. That's spirit going like, get ready. We don't want any of this. This is actually a distraction now. And when it's time, we're going to move, right? Horse, even in Mongolian culture with their divination styles, represents success, forward motion, and fast success, right? Now, remember, because of our societal structures, fast and abundant success will always be looked upon by certain people as something negative, right? So you might upset some people. They might not understand why you're going forward, why you're going so fast, why you're going without them. But when the horse shows up, we really need that indication that August is going to be about doors opening and you have the resources to move through, right? The warning is don't stay stuck in what didn't work, what's falling behind, who's falling behind. It's really like, particularly when wild horses together move, they move very efficiently and nothing gets in their way, right? It is a stampede. It is huge amounts of horsepower, right? So imagine that for a while you've had a certain amount of horsepower behind you, for example, like a certain motor. They're about to upgrade your motor. So make sure your body is ready, make sure it's fit and healthy and well, make sure that you have the capacity to create the space to move quickly, make sure you say yes at the right moment. If you're an entrepreneur or a business person, when someone offers you an opportunity, say fucking yes, say yes, just say yes. Because if you don't move into those possibilities, not knowing what it's about, then you'll miss that horse's genius. So be careful, be mindful. And you know how a lot of horses need to put blinkers on. This is actually an experience where sometimes you need to be focused, selfish, determined to get where you're going. And it tells me there's going to be a push. Yeah. So in your 3D life, we have the Kookaburra, which is a stern message around take action. If you sit there and stay in a bit of a pity party and say it's not all working out for me, and let those self-limiting beliefs show up, Kookaburra will come in and give you a stern talking to. I'm not sure if in your environment you have kookaburras, but we do, and they come in, they're loud, they're forceful, they're great hunters, and they say, take action now, because a form of sabotage is just saying no when you really want to say yes, not showing up to the situations, even though you've been asking for them for so long, right? So you've been asking for growth, you've been asking for balance, you've been asking for success of whatever version that is. And then when the doors open and someone says, hey, do you want to do this thing? Hey, do you want to do this thing? And you go, oh, no, I'm not ready. The beautiful entrepreneurs that have got to a successful level talk about it is really challenging to start something from scratch and get where you're going. But it's almost impossible if you don't show up to the things that could change everything, right? And we don't get to determine the video that goes viral, the interview that goes crazy. We don't get to determine the book that becomes a bestseller. Even Elizabeth Gilbert talked about that. It's like she keeps on writing because that's who she is. She never thought that her bestsellers were going to be bestsellers. It just happened outside of her control. And she continues to write books regardless. So it's not up to us which part of our lives become successful. We just work towards and believe in the outcome that we're providing for ourselves, and we keep on showing up. And honestly, the things I've showed up to that have been a complete flop is countless. I don't even want to count, but we keep showing up because that's important to us. So Kookaburra says, take action, keep showing up, don't give up. This is the time that's important for you guys because the horses showed up. Interesting. 3D, 4D, 5D. 4D is coming into the heart space, so not governing your life from the egoic centers, the survival centers, coming up into the heart emperor that says, what brings us joy? How can we be of service? What is it that fulfills my heart space? How can I trust in the universe, trust in connection, and be sovereign in the way that I navigate my life? We get the rabbit. Now, the rabbit does come with a stern message as well. Remember their shadow cards. The rabbit says, if you have any belief systems around that there's not enough people around you and that you're alone and you don't have enough support, rabbit's actually saying you're not alone if you actually think about it, but you have these preconceived ideas about how many people or how much is important, right? We probably need to scrap that because we now know that the world's changing and shifting. Family dynamics are changing massively. Community, in even that word, is changing. A lot of people are going on a solo quest to find themselves. A lot of people are noticing that they're much better in smaller groups, in quieter environments, whatever that means for you. But Rabbit says, under the right conditions, you will thrive. But there might be a problem in how you're blocking that. So what we know about rabbits, particularly in this country, is when the conditions aren't right, they don't breed much. When the conditions are right, they breed like rabbits. So that means that if you set the parameters of where you're trying to get to and you pull it in and say, I'm doing this thing, here's my support network, here are my goals, I'm going to take action, I believe in myself, and you wait for that horsepower to come, part of that is who have you got around you? And are they signaling to you that you are successful, that you can make it, that you're awesome, that you're going to get there? You know, we want people that say like, well, I want to help you. I think it's going to be wonderful. Like, how can I help? How can I motivate you? How can I cheerlead you on every day? But making sure that that inner circle is really important because we know that that can change our trajectory, right? The right person believing in us at the right time is like horsepower within itself. So just remember that. In 5D, very powerful totem, the tiger. One of the biggest cats, maybe even the biggest. Very graceful. Not many predators to worry about except for us. My beautiful students that have tiger birth totems remind themselves that they can be powerful and graceful in their movements, not just in their hunting, right? So it brings in this, it's not about if you have the guts or the fuel or the tenacity to go after something. And I believe I was reading this in one of my many books that I have open at the moment. It's this idea that you must be living and breathing the beauty of the pursuit. The process must be in alignment with how you want to live. And I get that at times we have to push and we have to hustle and whatever, but no amount of hustle is sustainable if we don't have some level of what kind of lifestyle do I want? Am I willing to sacrifice everything that's not that? Am I willing to see beauty in the process? And can I make this sustainable because I actually love the pursuit of it? A lot of people can get really disheartened by trying and failing and it's not working out and I'm not successful. It's like, well, what about, oh, that's right. I've been reading The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss, and he outlines all of his failures. He outlines everything he did wrong, all the companies he started that flopped and all the ways that he made mistakes. And it's like, he would still do it because entrepreneurs are entrepreneurs, artists are artists. We need to engage with the archetypes. If you have that insatiable nature of going towards and building something or creating something or dreaming something up or being the visionary, you must be in love with the visionary that hasn't made it as well as the visionary that will make it. Because when you do make it, which I don't know if we ever do, there's just levels of change. Are you going to plateau there and stagnate? Probably not. You're probably going to keep creating. So the force to create when we're in scarcity, we must be engaged with the idea that even when we've made it, we've got $1 million in the bank account, we still want to create in the way that we are. So Tiger comes in with this, if you want to make this beautiful, aligned, sustainable, fall in love with the struggle, take the action, be the person that would try again anyway. Get back up after your failures. This is what entrepreneurs do. I don't know if there's entrepreneurs coming through, but this is what's in my field at the moment. Get your inner circle sorted. Get your coaches around you, even if they're online coaches, even if it's a free program. Get it together. When the horsepower comes, go for it. Yep. Now remember, horsepower is fairly steady, very fast, but they also do stop. They slow down. So we want to catch the energy as it comes through and then check in again at the end of the month to see, like, where are my resources at? Is my body tired? Do I need something more gentle than horsepower right now? Or are we trying to sustain that with that tiger mentality, which is holding the reserves, right? Not pouncing on everything. Tigers don't hunt for sport, although they might be quite playful. They hunt for fuel and for survival. And in between that, they don't need to boast to anyone that they can. They are just kings and queens of the jungle. So we're walking through the jungle of our lives with that level of ownership, with that level of grace and beauty, knowing when to reserve our power, knowing when to exert it, and finding the depths of that beauty and becoming that, right? So whatever you're trying, cockatoo chimes in, whatever you're trying to achieve, whatever you're trying to be that person, whether you've made it or not, right? Because making it and money and fame and all of that doesn't really mean that much. I think what we seek is validation for the thing that we want. So validate yourself, be that person, whether it's working out or not. I'm sure the abundance is coming, but enjoy this time, because once everything changes, you're probably going to look back and go, oh, life was so simple before, right? And how many people have said that? you know, you get everything you want and you get there and you're like, oh, this is not what I thought it was at all. So fall in love with the pursuit, fall in love with the process, because the process will never leave you. It's like if you want to be a full-time artist, push yourself until you get there. And when you get there, delight in being a full-time artist and not worried about what's going to be a hit and what people are going to love. Create and just keep creating and watch when horsepower comes in, big upgrades, and then sustain. Yep. So I hope that helps, my darlings. Come and play with us in Patreon. It's a beautiful space, online community. Surround you with cheerleaders, encouragement, structure, everything you need. And pay attention. We've got some beautiful online events coming up too. And don't forget, you can order the Stalk Your Shadow Oracle deck on our website. I love you. See you next month. Bye.